And we head into a colossal derby weekend here in the Barclays Premier League. A very good morning and welcome inside our Fox studios here in Los Angeles alongside former England and Newcastle man Warren Barton. My name is Christian Miles. Some big local bragging rights at stake, and they don't get any bigger than this weekend, Warren. Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm Christian Miles.
And I'm Tamara Slane.
Now, today we're here at Buckshaw Stadium on the campus of Santa Clara University to pay homage to one of the greatest athletes in the history of women's soccer, the one, the only Brandi Chastain. And we welcome you back to the Barclays Premier League Match of the Week right here on Super Sunday. Plus, Survival Sunday continues to roll on here on Fox Soccer. Glad you're along with us. Warren Barton, Keith Costigan, and Christian Miles, as well as Eric Winaldo. Let's get you updated right now on what is transpiring in a dramatic day in the Barclays Premier League. Remember, two clubs are accompanying West Ham down to the Empower Championship. As it stands right now, Wolverhampton Wanderers are going down.
Yeah. It's going to be difficult for Blackpool to hold on at Old Trafford. So many different things are going to happen.
It's going to change again. Trust me, that's going to change 5 times before we get to the end. Wolves negative 22.
maybe 6.
You guys are talking about it. We did not see this coming at all over at Molineux.
The Wolves have been playing superbly well. We all talked about it.
Welcome to Brazil. I'm Christian Miles.
And this is the World Cup.
Join me for all the latest World Cup news and analysis on Destination Brazil, right here on CCTV News. Not only the greatest player in the world, but a guest of honor tonight, Pele. 80,000 people on hand. What does this say about the state of American soccer here? But first, it's Derby Day on Fox Soccer, so let's get straight to the headlines. North London, put your seatbelts on. It's Spurs and Arsenal, and you know White Hart Lane be rocking. At Goodison Park, controversy ruled and an explosive Merseyside derby between Everton and Liverpool. And for Man City, the Tevez problem was no problem as they swept aside Blackburn. Well, let's look at the bottom half of the table and some big names down here, most notably Parma, but Inter Milan. Who would have thought at this point of the campaign? These guys won the Champions League back in 2010, and now they find themselves now fourth from bottom. And that really begs the question here when we look at this. Claudio Ranieri, the honeymoon's over, isn't it?
There's no doubt, and we spoke about it when he took over the job after 5 games. They had to bring a new coach in. It's not going to work. He's the tinker man, and all he does is maybe for 10 months, a year, do reasonably well, get a couple of results. They went to Moscow, and I must say, to go there and to win that game, which is a good result.
Yeah, that was.
But all it done for me is cover over the cracks, because the problems they've got, not only as a coach, but also, Richard, it's on the field.
I tell you, we're taking over since Mourinho left the club. There's been problems. You know, they've had 2 managers since then that couldn't handle it. Benitez, you know, firstly, and so they've had a couple in there, just never been able to handle it. But Ranieri, like I said, he'll come in.
Are they too old right now, Richard?
Me and Richard.
I think you've got to change your team maybe every 2 or 3 years, and I think this team is looking a bit old in the tooth.
Don't you think the players need
No, so it's not just Mick McCarthy. David Moyes not too happy, but Scottish managers, guys, they've really seemingly taken over the Barclays Premier League, and currently there are 7 men north of the border leading teams. Let's take a closer look at some of these Scottish managers. First off, well, it starts with Sir Alex. Would you believe it? He's turning 70 on New Year's Eve, and on November 6th, he will celebrate 25 years in charge. Said he wants to go for 3 or 4 more years. Kenny Dalglish, we just saw him 6 league titles, 3 European Cups in his previous stint. Can he rediscover the glory days at 60 years of age? Alex McLeish, another Glaswegian. Remember, he took Birmingham City to the League Cup last year. Pretty good start at Aston Villa. Owen Coyle, not so right now. The former Bolton forward has lost 11 of 12 games. Moving on, Paul Lambert, how about the 42-year-old? Back-to-back promotions. He's up with the big boys. Had a pretty good run of form until he visited Old Trafford yesterday. David Moyes seems to punch above his weight each and every year. 10th season, consistently doing very well, but this man has not done well. Blackburn Rovers manager Steve Keane, he's 44, plied his trade with Fulham and really won things here. But let's start with you, Richard, here. You're Scottish. You know the secret. You play for Scottish managers.
Very proud.
Why are they so successful?
I mean, it's not only Scottish managers. They're all from the same city. They're all from Glasgow. And that's...
Kyle Walker may want to send a thank you note to Wojciech Szczesny, Warren.
Yeah, he was poor defending. But like the young man said there, if you don't buy a ticket, you're never going to win a lottery. He took the chance. It was a decent strike, but the goalkeeper is going to be disappointed.
Yeah, I think Arsenal, we did see them have spells of possessions, but it was Tottenham who created the better chances. We saw Adebayor was here, Gareth Bale too. And I think we're starting to see the power change in North London. Tottenham look like they can overtake Arsenal this season.
They were the favorites, and they end up winning out. Of course, you can join us a little bit later over on Fox for a special encore presentation of the 167th North London Derby. Well, we've got our special guest here, and for more on the North London Derby, let's send it over to Eric Ronaldo, who's standing by with two guys who know a thing or two about Derby football. It's Vinnie Jones and Richard Goff, guys.
Thank you, Christian.
Head down to the Sao Paulo. Napoli looking for their first win in 6. Novara looking for their first win in 5. It was 6th against second bottom. We had it for you here on Fox Soccer. Pick up the highlights. Discombobulated is the way to characterize the Novara start. Fontana, what kind of a clearance this is, we'll never know. Jay Maili says thank you very much, and Cavani puts it home. Goal number 20, 1-0.
Well, I think that Jay Maili played his best match.
Juan Zuniga and company probing for their third. Jay Maili lets it go, but it's a wonder save from Fontana, trying to atone for his earlier mistake. In the end, Napoli cruised to victory. Not that convincing, but 3 points is 3 points. 2-0.
And the race for European spots heats up once again in the Bundesliga. Live from the German capital, it's 5th, visiting 6th, as Hertha Berlin gets set to play host to Eintracht Frankfurt. Hi, everybody. Great to have you along. Alongside former St. Pauli defender Ian Joy, I'm Christian Miles, and Ian, both of these two very much have Europe on their minds, and a victory would go a long way to help achieve those lofty ambitions.
Yeah, two teams that are in different form at this moment in time, both trying to find their form. A terrific performance from Hertha last week, an awful performance from Frankfurt last week. It's a big three-pointer.
Talk about big results. Bayern Munich 8-0 over Hamburg. Robert Lewandowski, of course, who else with another big hat trick. The second time in 3 years that the Hamburgers have lost against Bayern Munich by 8 goals. And of course, things getting started with victories for Werder Bremen yesterday. But Vedad Ibisevic, the former St. Louis Billiken, really starting to round into form. That goalless drought over after a big strike last week in that 1-1 draw against Bayern Munich. But it was a heartbreaking result against the defending champions.
It certainly was. I think people forget that they actually were awarded a very dubious free kick, Hertha Berlin, when they found their opening goal, and then to play 6-minute added time when Bayern Munich found their equaliser. 1 point against the champions is not a bad point to take. Hertha, it feels like a loss to them though.
Goal coming 6 minutes into stoppage time, so we take a look at the starting 11 for Pal Dardai, and no changes from that team.
There is no changes. It's a 4-2-3-1 for Pal Dardai. Rune Jarstein starts as goal as usual. A back four of Pekarik, Langkamp, US international John Brooks and Platinart. Shelbred will sit in front of the back four as Stark. Both were excellent last week. Haraguchi, Darida and Solomon Kalou will play right in behind Vedad Ibisevic, who's got 9 Bundesliga goals so far, as we just met.
Berlin hoping to get it right. Stick around. The first half kickoff is next. And referee Sasha Stegman gets us off and running. 1 place and 1 point, separating 6th place from 5th, and a victory going a long way to putting each on course for a top 4 finish and a place potentially in the UEFA Champions League. Sushkov now links nicely with Seferovic. It's played inside, and it's played up beautifully, and a wonder save from Jarstein to keep Frankfurt out. Rebic found himself in an advantageous situation, but Eintracht Frankfurt unable to capitalize.
Well, finally we see an opportunity in front of goal. Great movement from Eintracht Frankfurt.
It drops fortuitously for the Ivorian Kalou. Darida now has the option for an onside Haraguchi. He'll need a good cross. The Japanese cuts it back, trying to pick out Kalou, who gets ahead to it, but easily held from Radetzky.
Now they need to start investing more. That's a good ball.
Here's Kalou, he's in. And 1v1 defending, swept up, and Hertha Berlin with the breakthrough. Vedad Ibisevic with the first strike of the game. A big one for the Berliners. 1-0 here in the German capital. He's the only team in the German Bundesliga yet to score on a counter-attacking opportunity. Not exactly their bread and butter. This is, however, dead ball. Platinart puts one right into the heart of that Frankfurt defense. Darida asking the questions, headed away. And it will drop for Platinart, who has that thunderous left foot, repelled nicely by Radetzky. What an effort from the Hertha Berlin fullback. Frankfurt not out of the woods, right back in point-blank range, and that may do it. Hertha Berlin
inches away from being put into the win column once again off the head of Vlad Darida. It's Hertha Berlin 2, Frankfurt 0.
Exquisite finish into the corner. Radecki's got absolutely no chance, and 3 points are well and truly in the bag for Hertha Berlin. What a goal.
Second goal of the season for the Big Czech in timely fashion, putting the final nail in the coffin for 10-man Frankfurt. No stoppage time here, and Hertha Berlin behind goals from Vedad Ibisevic as well as Vlad Darida wrap up a 2-0 win and just desserts for the hosts. All right, that will do it for us. On behalf of the entire crew, our producer Justin Keene, director Cecilio Hernandez, as well as my partner Ian Joy, this is Christian Miles saying so long from the German Bundesliga. We'll see you next time.